Hello, everybody. As people are starting to join, we'll just give it a minute or two to get things kicked off. Want to make sure everybody can get into the Zoom, get comfortable. You may notice that we are using the webinar version of Zoom, and so we cannot see you. You can see us. You can engage with us in a couple of different ways that I'll talk about in just a second. But if you want a little bit more close-up, face-to-face interaction, we'll also have a part of the program towards the end where we have some breakout rooms, and you can go and meet with someone virtually or continue to interact in the chat. So just be aware we are using the webinar feature. So tune in to the bottom of your screen. There should be 3 dots, or maybe it's at the top, depending on if you're on a phone or on a computer. And that is where you can access the chat or the Q&A feature. So feel free to engage in the chat as we go along, or if you think of a question for us that you want us to get to right away or later on in the program, we will give you a chance to do that. So those are just a couple housekeeping updates. My name is Paige Rooney. I am the Assistant Director for Recruitment at the University of Memphis. And so I get to work with some really great people in our admissions office who are here to help you throughout this process. And so we want to meet you tonight. We want to offer you whatever it is that you need, whatever questions you have. We've got some current staff, some current students, and we hope that you'll get a chance to meet each other as well, because we've got people joining us from all across the country. And we really just want to tell you who we are, a little bit of information about campus and what we do, and then we want to hear from you. What kind of things are you curious about? What do you need help with? What can help make that decision for you or help get you to that next point in the process? So we're really grateful that you've chosen to spend some time with us tonight. We plan for this to be fairly short and sweet, and if you want to contact us after this event, please do. We really hope that you will continue this relationship and engage with us. We've got our phone number and our office email down at the bottom, and there'll be other people sharing their contact information throughout the presentation. So here's what the event will look like. Kind of like I said, we will go through and tell you who we are and what we do, and then give you a chance to tell us a little bit about what you want to know. But before we do that, I want to hear who you guys are. We want to know who is in the Zoom and get to know you a little bit more. So if you would, please find that chat feature and drop your name and your hometown and your high school so we can see who we have with us. We just want to know where you're from, and maybe you'll make a new friend throughout the chat. So if you would just give us a quick introduction, it can be first name and where you're joining us from. And if you want to give us a go, whatever your high school mascot is, let us know what high school you're coming from. And while y'all are doing that, I'm actually going to launch a poll so that we can see who all we have. So that chat will be a good way for y'all to get a visual of who's here. And we want to know a little bit more so we can see where you're coming from, and also what kind of things you want us to cover throughout this event. So you should have a poll that has popped up on your screen. It is anonymous. If y'all will participate in that, we would love to learn a little bit more about you. So feel free to go through and answer those questions. We'll just kind of watch. I should have had some game show music for y'all to listen to as we gather some intel about who we have here with us tonight. So we've got, just as y'all are filling it out, where are you from? First question, what states are you joining us from? We know that we've invited people from a variety of areas, but if you're not included, we would love for you to let us know in the chat where you're joining us from, if you have not already. What do you want to major in? Do you know? Are you not sure yet? Are you somewhere in the middle? Any of the above is perfectly fine. And then you can be honest with this one. Like I said, it's anonymous. We won't hold it against you, but how are you feeling about the U of M so far? We want to know, do we have a room full of, oh yes, I can't wait to be a Tiger? Do we have some maybes? Do we have some probablys? Or is it a little early and this is your first, step to learning a little bit more about the University of Memphis? Everyone is welcome. And then the last thing, you can choose as many of these as you want, is going to be, what do you want to make sure that you learn about this evening from us? So that way, if no one asks a question, we can make sure that we include just a little bit of info or where you can find this information a little bit later. So we've got most people have responded. I'm going to kind of sum it up just a little bit so y'all know who's here, but it looks like Illinois is representing here tonight in the Zoom. So Illinois is, oh wait, no, Missouri, they're still coming in. Missouri is our #1 state here in the Zoom, and Illinois is coming behind in a close second, but it looks like we've got people also from Indiana, Ohio, and then another state. So hey, we've got somebody from Collierville right down the road. Thanks for joining us. And most of you know what you want to major in. If you know, feel free to drop that in the chat. We can make sure we talk about it a little bit, but it seems like 62% are a yes and 38% are a maybe. So good. Y'all have at least thought about that. If you change your mind, that's okay too. And then how are you feeling about the U of M? We've got some can't waits, some looks good, still deciding. Great. And we will make sure that we cover a little bit about money, a little bit about student life, housing, academic y'all really want to know about everything. So thank y'all for completing our poll. I'm going to turn it over to Jamie Staggs, who's going to tell you a little bit about her and what she does on campus and introduce the rest of our panelists.
Thank you, Paige. And thank you all for joining us this evening. I'm so glad you are here. So as she said, my name is Jamie Staggs. You can see my contact information there below my picture, but I'm the regional admissions counselor who serves students who are from Missouri, Indiana, and Illinois. And I'm regionally based in the St. Louis area. So that means I live there. So it makes it easy for me to get to your high schools and your college fairs whenever you are having them. And it is my pleasure to take a few minutes to brag about the University of Memphis. There's certain things that I want to share with you this evening. So first, we have a diverse and talented student body, and I hope you're going to be part of that. You're going to see that our total enrollment is right around 21,000 students. We have students from 79 different countries. And if any of you are first generation college students, please be reassured that 34% of our student body is first generation college students. And we have some great resources available to help you succeed, okay? So don't be worried or nervous. Then we also offer our students 250 different degree options. So there's so many to choose from. It is okay to be undecided. We also have 54 master's degrees and 26 doctoral degrees. So a lot of great opportunities for you to continue your education. And then our student to faculty ratio is 15:1. So yes, you will have a lot of interaction with your professors. So just want to reassure you of that. The University of Memphis, one of the things I really like is everyone on campus is dedicated to helping you develop professionally in some way or another. And our internship program, it is ranked in the top 10 programs by US News and World Report. And so I hope as you see our university, you're also thinking, wow, they're going to be able to help me find great internships and great employment opportunities. And we are. So our campus is 5 miles from downtown Memphis. And when I talk to students, I like to tell you guys, it's convenient to just about anything and everything you could possibly want. The campus itself, you see this beautiful picture here. We have around 1,600 acres, and your immediate thought's probably like, wow, that's huge. But let me reassure you that you walk from class to class. It's only going to take a few minutes. You don't need a bus, you don't need a bike. And as you walk around campus, this is how you're engaged with other students and how you're going to find out what's going on every day and every night of the week. It's how you're going to make friends. And in addition to fabulous classrooms, there's some great resources on campus. There's a beautiful recreation center. So if you want to play basketball or swim or work out, there's endless fitness options for you. There's a student health center. So doctor, nurse, pharmacy, all right here on campus. And then the student center is one of my favorite places. Beautiful space, lots of restaurants, event space, and there's so many great spots to meet up with your friends and just hang out and study. And then for any of you that are the outdoorsy type and you like kayaking, fishing, walking, biking, all that good stuff, later on, look up Shelby Farms. It is a beautiful place, only 7 miles from campus, and it'll give you a chance to keep the great outdoors as part of your life while you're at our university. So a great feature about our university is its location. It's in Memphis, and our students find that there's plenty of entertainment, there's music, there's festivals, sporting events, delicious food. You definitely have to sample some when you come. Lots of outdoor activities. And then most of us on the line, we're from up north. So it's mild temperatures and it's Southern hospitality. And I think a lot of you will like that when you visit. Now, Memphis is also a very vibrant business city. There's world-renowned companies, Fortune 500 companies. I know you've heard of several of them. FedEx, International Paper, AutoZone is even headquartered here in Memphis too. St. Jude's Research Hospital, it is located here. And Memphis is one of the larger biomedical hubs in the United States. So again, I hope you're thinking, wow, those are great businesses and great opportunities for students to internship and develop professionally. And then also, Memphis is a diverse city. It has a rich history, a rich culture. It provides our students with just a great atmosphere to further their education. So my time's up for bragging. So what I want to do next is I want to introduce you to the next people that are going to speak, our panelists. We have gathered some great, knowledgeable staff members from various areas. And so now what we're going to do is each of them is going to take an opportunity to introduce themselves and share some great information. So the next person up is going to talk about financial aid and scholarships.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Rhodes. I'm the Financial Aid and Scholarships Outreach Coordinator for the University of Memphis. So I'm kind of the point person, a beginning point for if you have questions about financial aid, if you have questions about the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. I understand that we do have a few Tennessee residents here in the audience today. Glad to have you as well as our out-of-state students. If you have questions about the Hope Scholarship for the Tennessee residents or for all students and potential students, other University of Memphis scholarship opportunities, I'm your guy, right? And you can see down at the bottom my contact information directly. You've got my email address there. You'll notice 2 phone numbers that we have there, and that's because I have 2 phones. I got one for my right hand, I got one for my left hand, and I am here basically every day, 8 to 4:30 Central Time anyway, answering those phones. So if you have questions at any time, I am happy to help you get those questions answered. Many times I'm able to answer them for you, and if it's not me, then I can get you in touch with someone who can. So a couple of things that I want to make sure that you are aware of. Number one is the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. Want to make sure that you get that FAFSA completed as early as possible. Okay, and the reason for that is there's a lot of first come, first served aid available on the FAFSA, right? So we want to make sure that you've completed your FAFSA. For those of you who are seniors right now, that is going to be the 2021-2022 FAFSA. You also want to make sure that you have the University of Memphis school code on it so that we can make sure we receive that FAFSA and we can go ahead and start processing it for you. Regarding scholarship opportunities, a couple of things I want to bring to your attention there. We've got a wide variety of scholarship opportunities at the University of Memphis. There are our academic merit scholarships. So those are the ones that are traditionally based primarily on ACT scores, SAT scores, and high school GPAs. Our priority consideration deadline for the fall of 2021 merit scholarships is going to be March the 1st. So you still have a few weeks to get us updated information regarding those high school transcripts, as well as ACT and SAT scores. So if you're taking the ACT or the SAT this month, go ahead and get us those updated scores in as soon as you can. Additionally, we have a wide variety of departmental scholarships. Now, I will go ahead and tell you about Tiger Scholarship Manager. That's our online application system for all of our private and departmental scholarships. There are literally hundreds of scholarships on Tiger Scholarship Manager now. The deadline to apply for many of those for this year has already passed. It was February the 1st. However, there are several that have extended deadlines. Okay, so I know that there are some from specific academic departments. There's many for the law school, but there's also some for music. There's also some, I saw some for the College of Arts and Sciences and some others. Make sure you're checking out Tiger Scholarship Manager for those departmental and private scholarship opportunities. Additionally, we have a campus in Jackson, Tennessee, the Lambeth campus. There are several scholarships specifically for the Lambeth campus that are still available as well if you are thinking about attending our Lambeth campus. So make sure you're checking that out. We also process outside scholarships. If you get any of those, make sure you send that information our way. We are happy to process those for you. Now, also want to address for you a little bit of information about our tuition and fees. Okay, so for our in-state students, about a year's worth of full-time tuition is going to be about $9,936. For our out-of-state students, you'll see that that number is a little bit more, but not a lot more, right? It's $13,776 is kind of the average full-time cost for tuition for an out-of-state student for the year. It's about half of that in the fall, about half of that in the spring. So that's 12 credit hours, 12 12 to 15 credit hours or so is going to be put you in that price range. This does not include dorm and meal plan. I know that Daniel's going to tell you a little bit more about dorm and meal plan information here in just a moment. I just wanted to bring that up to you real quick. The numbers that you're seeing there are specifically for our cost of classes. So I'm going to be around for the question and answer. I will also be in the breakout rooms a little bit later on. So if you have any questions, please throw those in our Q&A or in the chat. I'll try to address those. If you have questions specifically about your situation, we will look forward to seeing you in the breakouts.
Thank you, Matt. And at this time, let's transition and learn more about housing and res life.
Thanks, Jamie. Good evening, everybody. My name is Daniel Napier. I'm the Marketing and Outreach Coordinator for Department of Housing and Residence Life. A couple quick things I want to note to everybody on the line this evening. Our fall 2021, spring 2022 housing application is not open quite yet. We're getting ready to release that on our housing portal, which is accessible through MyMemphis, through your student account through there. And that's going to open up on February 18th at 12 p.m. noon. As you guys are getting ready to potentially fill that application out, some other information you guys should have. We have 7 residence halls on campus that range from traditional and apartment style residence halls with a host of amenities. All of our residence halls come with free Wi-Fi, free cable. We offer ResNet tech services. So say your computer freezes out on you while you're at school, you can bring it in. We have ResNet techs there willing and able to support you. We also have free laundry in all of our halls. I know Ryan's on tonight. Ryan's one of our students who will get to introduce himself in a little bit, but he lives on campus with us, a great resource to have if you have any questions about what living on campus is like. Also, like Jamie mentioned, it's really convenient and amenable to a lot of your classes. All of our residence halls are only 5, maybe 10 minutes away from where you'll be going to classes, and that's walking. So you don't need the car, but all students automatically get a parking pass to general lots. So if you do bring your car, there is a spot for you to park it and get around town with that short trip into downtown Memphis. I think really the biggest point as you're coming here, as you're getting ready to branch out on your own for the first time, living on campus really just offers you a great sense of community and mentorship opportunities. Potentially somebody that you might live on a hall with, might know a class or a professor they would recommend. I know we saw a lot of great majors in the chat already, some of you having similar like-minded majors, potentially living with somebody who also has that drive and support to do classroom activities or extracurricular activities like SGA or some of the sorority fraternity options that are on campus. Just some of those great things that you're right there, only a couple minutes away, accessible to. Also, for other things to reach out to me about Housing 101 and resources, whether it's something that you can find on our website, virtual tours. I know Admissions is doing on-campus tours. If you find yourself in Memphis right now, we are not doing tours in our residence hall just to keep that community safe during everything that's going on right now, trying to limit the interaction in and out of our residence halls. But there are virtual tours that you can access. We're hoping in the summer maybe to come back and open it up for tours. We'll send out more information on that at that time. But rates, floor plans, what it's really like to live in our halls, all great questions that you could drop in the chat, Q&A, or definitely come to the breakout room a little bit later. As everybody mentioned, there's my contact information. Follow us on social media at U of M Res Life to stay connected with kind of everything that's getting ready to come out with the application, ask questions, connect with other people, all those great things.
All right, well, thank you, Daniel. At this time, I'd like for everyone to meet 2 of our current students.
Hello, everyone. I'm Abby Stanwich, and I'm a current sophomore nursing major with a minor in nutrition, and I'm from Tinley Park, Illinois. And the reason I chose Memphis was because I visited about 7 to 8 other campuses, and when I visited Memphis, I absolutely fell in love with just like the people and just like I vibed with it really well. So that's why I ended up here.
Hi everyone, my name's Ryan Murphy. I'm a sophomore political science major, naval science minor, and I'm from Wilmington, Massachusetts. Shout out Jada in the chat. I saw you from Hinsdale. I'm actually, I was born in Hinsdale, Illinois, so cool connection there. But I chose the University of Memphis first because I had a really clear understanding of what I wanted from a school. I wanted a strong academic program, certain programs that would help me in my career, and then a good experience outside of what I had in high school. And I ended up visiting the University of Memphis, and I found much, much more than that. And that's really what brought me here, the extra things that I didn't expect.
Okay. Well, you've had an opportunity to meet each of your panelists. And at this time, we welcome your questions. So if you want to use the Q&A feature and enter any questions that you may have, we're going to respond and do our best to share our tips, tricks, knowledge, whatever we can with you. So please don't hesitate to share those questions with us. I'll try to check them. All right, so our first question, how do we find roommates, or is it random? Daniel, would you like to address this first?
Great question. Events such as this, as we move pretty much closer to the year, I know Pageman is going to share a little bit more information about next steps, but new student orientations potentially. I do know there are some groups on social media. Our department doesn't host one, but those are places that you could potentially reach out and meet roommates potentially for the semester. We do allow roommate requests. So if you do meet someone, say I met Ryan through one of these events or at New Student Orientation or Frosh Camp, and Ryan and I decided to live with one another, I would submit his information in my application, he would submit mine, we'd submit that roommate request. Like I mentioned, we don't offer a portal specifically to meet roommates. It's just not something, a feature that our department has. But if you do have a request, we will try and work to accommodate those. And if you don't have a roommate request, didn't find somebody potentially in other ways that you want to meet with, there is the potential that you will get assigned a randomized roommate, depending on where you're living. And what that might look like. We do offer single rooms as well as double rooms. So maybe a roommate's not for you. Maybe you want to put that preference as a single room, and then it allows you to maybe figure out friends from other avenues. And maybe a couple of years down the road, you find somebody who you want to room with at that time, just to give yourself a little bit more just entry time to get under your feet and then find that person. So there's a whole lot of different options. Great question.
Our next question also pertains to residence life, and it's, can you live off campus even if you're a freshman? And I'll answer it, but I would love for Ryan and Abby maybe to address the benefits of living on campus, and definitely from that student perspective. So the answer to your question is freshmen are not required to live on campus, but there are definitely some benefits. So Ryan or Abby, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the really cool things about the University of Memphis. Opposed to some other schools that I've seen in Illinois and Massachusetts, you have a choice of where you can live. And that opens up a lot of different options for you. I personally have lived on campus for the past 2 years, and I couldn't say better things about it. I really enjoy it specifically because I'm close to campus, and I'm close to all the amenities and all the students and all the parts of the community that I've really come to enjoy. So I'm walking distance to the library, to the university center, to the recreation center. All of my friends live on or near campus, and I can always have a place to see them. And also, especially as a freshman, there's something very easy about living in the dorm. You don't have to worry about paying bills monthly. You don't have to worry about rent or putting holes in the walls and having your security deposit taken away. It's a really easy way to start your career at the University of Memphis off as best as you can.
Do you want to add anything, Abby, or no?
Oh yeah, sorry. So I was definitely gonna say, like, I was super nervous because I came to Memphis not knowing anybody. It's 8 hours away from home. So at first I actually lived in a single room in the LLC, which is our Living Learning Center. And so everyone's kind of like has like similar majors that you're kind of like on the same floor with or something like that. And so I lived in a single room, and that's actually how I met my absolute best friends, who I now live with them in an apartment literally right next to the parking garage on campus. So I highly recommend living on campus because that's how I was able to meet a lot of people and also get really involved too, because I mean, I wanted to get involved just because I wanted support systems and everything because I am so far away. So I was like, definitely wanted to get involved on campus. And I think living on campus that first year really helped me out with that.
Great advice. So another question we have via the chat. We get a lot of questions about financial aid and scholarships. So Matt, would you be able to share with the group when they should hear if they've received a scholarship, when will they receive their financial aid award? Just kind of an update on anticipated dates.
Certainly. So we have already started the process for packaging financial aid, federal and state financial aid. We have also already sent out our first round of academic scholarship letters. Okay, so a couple of things on that. One, let's start with financial aid real quick, right? So for financial aid, we sent out those initial packages in December. Okay, so if you have not yet received a financial aid package from us, that means one of a couple of things. That means that either we don't have your FAFSA on file, or it may mean that you have some kind of missing documentation. Okay, so occasionally there's a certain percent chance the federal government selects a certain number, a certain percentage of FAFSAs every year for a process called verification. Now, if you are selected for verification, it does not necessarily mean that you have done anything wrong on your FAFSA. It just means that we have a little bit more paperwork that we have to do before we can determine your financial aid eligibility, right? So what you would want to do is check your My Memphis account under the student pages and then My Finances, and then you can look at financial aid requirements, the financial aid requirements box. So again, that's going to be My Memphis on student pages, and then click on My Finances, and then look at the financial aid requirements box. If you see all green check marks there, that means that we have, well, at least if you see a FAFSA, a free application for federal student aid with a green check mark next to it, that tells us that we have received your FAFSA. If you see any other red flags there, those are indications of things that we need from you before we can finalize your financial aid process, okay? So that would be one thing I would encourage you to check. So if anybody has a question like that, come on over to the breakout rooms and we'll be able to look that up specifically for you and see where we're at there. If we have received your FAFSA recently, and this is also kind of the case for academic scholarships as well, we were packaging up through about midway through December when we sent out that first round of financial aid and scholarship offers to incoming freshman students. And then we had the holiday break. And then when we came back, we were laser focused on spring of 2021, the semester that we just started a couple of weeks ago. So we had to shift gears and get everything ready for spring. And we have since shifted gears back and are starting to process those award packages again for federal and state awards. So I know that earlier this week, we actually put several hundred financial aid letters in the mail. So you may be getting a financial aid letter soon from us. But again, we want to check that financial aid, any financial aid requirements that you may have. So the academic scholarships, kind of the same thing. We would have based our initial round of academic scholarship letters on information that we had received as of around the 1st of December. If we have received additional information from you, whether that is a high school transcript or an updated ACT or SAT score or something like that since then, we will be sending out another round and doing another round of packaging and scholarship offers this month as well. Regarding the Tiger Scholarship Manager scholarships that you may have applied for, those departmental and private scholarships you may have applied for up through February the 1st, though that information is being pooled into applicant pools right now to be sent to the departments who are making these selections of those scholarships. The awarding window for that usually is between mid-March and late May. Okay, so I know that's kind of a wide range of time. What you would need to do is keep logging back into Tiger Scholarship Manager. In the top left-hand corner of the Tiger Scholarship Manager webpage, you'll see My Applications. You can click on My Applications and it'll show you everything you apply for, okay? And if you see it say submitted, that means they are still making a decision. If you see it say offered, that's where you can click on it and go ahead and accept that offer. But that's the best way to keep up with the status of those applications. And like I said, the window of time for that is mid-March through sometime in May. So definitely keep an eye on that. Stay checking on that as well.
Okay, so we have another question, and Abby, they're asking you, but you can anyone else can chime in too. This says, did you like the single room, or do you recommend having a roommate? And I get this question a lot too. So these are that are from out of state, several hours away. What advice would you like to share?
I definitely did enjoy having a single room, but I think it also is just dependent on the person. I mean, I definitely liked it because I was able to kind of have my own space to go back to, but then again, like like I said, with the LLC, you can kind of just go out into the common area and you can kind of like, people are literally right next door to you. And so that's how I kind of was able to meet a bunch of people, because I just like to have kind of like my own little space. So I think like for my personality, having the single room was better, but it's definitely dependent on the person.
Well, we're going to wrap up the Q&A session in just a moment. So if you have any last minute questions, enter them now. If any of you were to ask me, who is my support system in the admissions office? Well, there's two people. And Paige, you got to meet at the beginning. But at this time, I would also like you to meet Kyle Nixon, my director of admissions.
Thank you, Jamie. You're too kind. But hello, everyone. I put this in the chat, but my name is Kyle Nixon, and I serve as the Director for Recruitment and Orientation here at the University of Memphis. I just wanted to take a moment to thank each of you for joining us tonight and learning a little bit more about the University of Memphis experience. I know this year has been one that has been challenging, and you're not able to physically go to a lot of the schools that you are looking to attend. And so we appreciate your attention tonight. Of course, if you have questions along the way about anything regarding the University of Memphis, the admissions process, the orientation process, feel free to reach out. I'll include my contact information in the chat for you all as well. But I hope that you are able to get to campus soon, and we would definitely welcome you to do that. But thank you again for joining us, and go Tigers.
Perfect. And many of the students on the line, when you guys email me questions and I say, I need to check with my supervisor, now you know who I'm going to. So let's see here. I think we'll finish with this question. And it is, what are some of the resources that are offered to students? Okay, what are some of the resources? So I may start with letting our two current students mention a few. And then those of us on the panel, we can jump in and add some other resources that you're passionate about. So Ryan, do you want to go first?
Of course. I don't want to be general at first, but there are resources for pretty much every need that you have on campus. We have a medical clinic, we have a counseling center, we have a police station, we have individuals who will help you with your classes, with your financial aid, with your payments. Personally, the resource that I use the most, and it's very underrated, is the tutoring here at the University of Memphis. So I'm a political science major taking physics classes right now. So I use the tutoring, and now being with COVID, it's online. But I use the tutoring a lot for my papers, for my classes, just to get extra help and to get ahead.
One of the resources that I've also had to use a couple times at the University of Memphis is kind of just tech support help, just because I'm not the greatest with technology. And so being able to have someone to like walk me through the steps and kind of help me through that when I'm doing homework late night, it's open 24/7. So someone's always going to answer you, so you're not freaking out for an assignment. Another resource too that is, I think not everybody on campus knows about it, but I absolutely love it, is the Relaxation Center. So like you can kind of go there and they have like massage chairs. You can just kind of sit in there and like relax and decompress. And they have a bunch of other activities too that kind of help calm you down a little bit. And I have gone there many times, and I definitely leave at least a little less stressed. So.
Panel members, does anybody else want to add anything at this point? Okay. Well, I have something to add. Over the next few months, as our seniors and parents are wrapping up the final stages of your senior year and you're trying to get everything done for college, when you're feeling overwhelmed or some anxiety, your admissions office, we are a resource, okay? And everybody on this panel is a great resource too. So reach out to us when you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, or you have a question or concern, or maybe you received an email and you need clarification. Reach out to us, okay? We're a great resource. Our job is to help you get to that first day of class. So with that, I want to transition to our next slide, and that is what's next. Because a lot of students are asking us right now, and parents, what do we need to be doing right now between now and May when my student graduates? So here's a brief list that I'll go over with you. For the most part, I feel like most students on tonight's event or at tonight's event has already applied. But if you have not, there's still time to apply. You simply go to our website. You'll be pleasantly surprised that it'll take you about 15 minutes to complete our application. Next, if you haven't already done so, complete the FAFSA. And I feel like Matt's covered this thoroughly, but I highly encourage you to complete it for multiple reasons. If you need assistance, let us know. Apply for housing. You heard tonight that that application will be opening online beginning February 18th. And there's a lot of great benefits to living on campus. So I hope you look at that thoroughly. And then visiting campus. We are giving campus tours Mondays through Fridays, twice a day. They're given by current students. So if you see a good opportunity to come and take a campus tour, we welcome you. We also have several events scheduled for this spring. So you can look on our website under events or campus events, and it'll show you the options we have. And then also the virtual resources. We have a beautiful virtual campus tour. You can meet with me and our admissions counselors one-on-one virtually. So we want to meet your needs, whatever they are, whether you want to travel and come see us in person or you want to do it from your computer screen. We're going to be able to work with you and help you have a visit in whatever shape or form that looks like. And then finally, orientation. So we refer to it as New Student Orientation, and you're going to see the abbreviation NSO. It's going to be on your emails and such. But essentially, this is when you come to campus, you choose your classes, you meet other students, you meet your academic advisor. We just prepare you. We have a lot of sessions to help you get started at Memphis. Those, the new student orientation appointments, they take place in June and July, but registration for those appointments will open in March. But don't worry, we will send you emails and texts, and I'll call you if I need to, just to make sure you don't miss participating in that new student orientation. So that's what's coming next. So at this point, we've saved time for one-on-one breakout sessions. And essentially, each member of the panel is available to meet with you in a breakout room. And so if you go to the chat box, there's actually going to be a web link. Click on the web link, and that'll take you to the next room. Now, there shouldn't be a passcode, hopefully, but if for some reason when you try to do this, there is a passcode, it's Tigers, because that is our mascot. We are the University of Memphis Tigers. So you would just enter the word Tigers, lowercase t. But hopefully you don't need that. So that is what our next step will be. And then once you get into that breakout room, you can let us know who you want to talk to more. Okay, so go to that chat function and click on the web link. Paige is going to stay around in this webinar room. So if anybody needs assistance, just drop her a message in the chat or Q&A so she can assist you. But thank you all for coming this evening, and I hope to see you in one of the breakout rooms.